Let's look at grouping and outlining in Excel to help me manage the data and give me visibility of the summaries. Before I use the outlining tool, I want to use Control and tilde. This is a great shortcut because it shows us all the formulas on the worksheet, and you can see the formulas are identified here in the pale blue cells. And if I scroll across, you'll see the formulas are also here in column G. Now to get back to the normal view, Control tilde again takes me back. So it's a once on, once off idea. Let's go to the data ribbon and come along to outlining. Here I've got a couple of different options. First of all, we'll go to group and we want to use the auto outline. What this does is it picks up where those formulas are, and in this worksheet they're identified in blue, and it puts the widgets around them to help us summarize this data. Now what I mean by this are these widgets across the top. You've got a 1 and a 2 here, and if you click 1 it hides the data, and click 2 it expands it back out. And the same with our levels across the top. 1 gives us the entire overall summary, 2 gives us a breakdown, and then 3 we can see the whole data. And we can collapse individual sections as well. Now what I want to do is just get the summary here, and what I'd like to do here is copy and paste. So let's select this information and go Control C, Control N to get a new page, and Control V. We can see that it hasn't worked here. It's brought us the whole lot back. So let's try it again. Before I go Control C, I'm going to go Control G. Then I'll click into Special, and then I want to see just the visible cells only. And now I'll click on OK. Now I'll go Control C, Control N, and Control V. And we can see it's pasted just the information that I wanted. So what I did there was I clicked the top to select the whole worksheet and double click one of the headers to make them all the same. So let's go back to our outlining tool. To remove the outlining tool, we need to expand it right out so it's all visible. Then go back to the outlining and ungroup and clear the outline. But we have a couple of different options in here. We used auto outline last time, but there is a manually group here too. So let's say we just want to focus on the Auckland figures and the totals. I can go to the outline tool and go to group and choose group here. Now that's placed a widget just around this section here. So I can still see Auckland, and I can expand it out if I want to. And likewise I can do the same with grouping down here. So it may be that I just want to see the quarter ones for each of these. I'll go to group and apply a grouping. This one here, I want to apply a grouping here. Outline, group. And I can repeat, there may be just sections that I want to see. Outline, group, and I can do the same thing here. Outline and group. Now what that's done is when I collapse it down, we can see I'm just looking at quarter one here. And I can see the Auckland totals for quarter one. So everything's still visible. I haven't hidden anything. And people can see that information is hidden by the state of these widgets up the top here. So I was able to apply grouping because it was meaningful for me just to see the quarter one figures each time. And if I need to expand, I can do that. Let's copy and paste this summary now. I'm going to go Control G, Special, Visible Cells Only. Then Control C, Control N, and Control V. And then to remove our grouping, we need to expand it right out. Back to outline and group and clear outline. Takes us back to normal. Now let's take a look at subtotals in Excel. With this data here, I'd like to get an idea of the number of products for each of my companies for sale. So I want to count the products, but I want it to change. So when it gets to the second company, I want it to say 3. This one, I want it to say 3, and so on. So I'm going to use the subtotal tool. I'll go to the Data tab, across to Outline, and here I'm going to choose Subtotal. And you can see it's picked up my headings. At each change in company, I'm going to use the count, and I'm going to put that onto the product. I'll click on OK. Perfect. It's worked really well. And I can see the count is listed under the products here. Now you'll notice that we've got the same widgets that we saw with outlining, which means we can get the same report we want by using that same technique. Control G, special, visible cells only, Control C, Control N and Control V. Let's go back. And I'd like to clear the outline, and of course I can expand any of these as I need to. To clear the outline, click on 3 to reveal it all. Go to Subtotal and remove all. Great, this time I'd like to see how much revenue each rep brought in. So I want to put all the Janets together, but can you see I've got all the Anns here, but then there's an Andrew and then there's some more Anns. So I actually need to sort, and there's another Janet. I actually need to sort it by rep before I start. When you're sorting data, you don't need to select anything. You click into the field you want to sort by, and you sort A to Z. Now we've got it sorted by rep. So at each change in rep, I want it to come to the total and sum. So we'll go to the tool for subtotal. At each change in rep, I'm going to sum the total. Great, and we can see this here, that we can expand that right down. Now we can also put an average on by adding a second subtotal. Go up to subtotal, at each change in rep, use the average for the total, but I don't want to replace the current subtotals. I want to keep the current subtotals. Click on OK. Now I've got 2, I've got the average and their total. And now I've got 4 levels here. There's the total, there's the average and the total. To clear these, go to subtotal, remove all, and we're back to normal.